Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Yes, another video talking about solo leveling. I'm sorry, there is no other content to do in the game right now. I've tried thinking of stuff, but I've literally done everything. And now we're just sort of stalling waiting for the collab. But today's video is more or less my opinions and what I want to... If the devs somehow see this, this is what I want them to take from this video, right? This collab is going to be either a game changer in terms of it's going to be really good, you can do lots of good stuff, and it's going to go really well, or you can screw it up. I'm going to use the previous collabs as quite a good bit of evidence that you screw things up sometimes, but you can learn from your mistakes. Firstly, we'll discuss banners. I wish there's a way to make them sharp, but I can't. I'm sorry. Firstly, we're going to talk... They're going to be... There we go. We're going to make them be quiet. Problem is, immediately we're going to talk about rates. So, rates in the last collaboration, or the last new collaboration, was Dependency Shadow, which was 0.25 per character on a 3% banner, only having 3 new collaboration characters, taking the rates to about 0.75 a collab for the collab itself, and making it only a 25% chance when you get an SSR for it to be a collaboration character. That's how bad the rates were. And now, before you say anything, right? You know, well, as exclusivity and stuff like that, the characters were all somewhat dupe reliant. Whether that be Beta with her buffs, the amount of attack rate stats you get, the Alpha with her ability to get a 40% damage cap at 2/6, or even Shadow's ability to do more damage and get more health at higher ult levels from his passive. That was probably one of the bigger problems in my opinion. But then when you think about the rate, you think, 0.25, right? If you do the maths, let's just say every 1% is, technically 4 0.25s. And then you do 1% times 100, you think, okay, 4 times 100 does 400 summons. Realistically, it's going to take you 400 summons to get each character. And you do, okay, well, how many diamonds is that going to be? 1,200 diamonds is the actual pity for those characters, and bear in mind the actual pity on the banner is 600, right? But if you do the maths, the pity should be 1,200, which is why there's a problem, and I'll tell you why now. So, every other character in the game that has a 600 diamond banner, including, let's just say, I'm going to use the slime rerun because it was probably the best collaboration we've ever had, and I like using that as a baseline now. Had a 0.25% rate on Shion and Millum. Both characters were brand new, both good, 0.25 on a 3% banner. But that's not it. It wasn't just those two on the banner. There were 5 other collaboration characters on that banner, not including the 2 rated up characters. So think about it. There were 7 collaboration characters involved, right? And the 2 new ones combined had 0.25% more chance of you getting them than the entire Mr. Shadow collab combined. That's how stupid the rates are, right? And if you do the maths, you do 0.5, you think, okay, 0.5, 2 0.5s go into a 1%, times that by 100, what you're looking at about 200 summons-ish, you get a collaboration character with 0.5 rates, which is what it should be. What does that total to in diamonds? 600. And guess what the pit is on collaboration banners? 600. And before you think, oh, that's kind of stupid, right? Every 600... I just wait to just make them sharp, like, permanently, I swear. They all talk too much now. Every 0.2... every 600 banner has 0.5 rates. See, 0.5 on a 600 diamond banner, that's meant to be the normal rates, because it's meant to be either equal to or a little bit better than pity, right? Not pity, the actual pity itself, which is the point where you can pick the character, should not be half the value of the mathematical pity, which is what it is, right? And the only characters I can compare it to in terms of pity is, the most recent festival that has a 0.25% chance. Actually, not even that, right? They just need to make them stay sharp on this, all the way to mute them. It's really irritating. But you had a higher chance of pulling a UR base in this festival than you did pulling any of the collaboration characters. And bear in mind, right, the chance of you getting King Indiana is about 1 in every 400 summons, which is every 3 in 1,200 diamonds, right? And you get them at 900. That was the same rates for the collaboration characters, but instead you got them at 600, think, oh well, it's good value, right? It wouldn't take me 1,200 diamonds to get them if pity was there, but instead I get them at 600. Well, no, it's not the case. It really isn't the case. It should be the pity should be somewhat close to the mathematical pity, which on collaborations has always been 600, for festivals has always been 900, right? You know, whatever. But why is it that these new collaborations, right, that are meant to bring in new players, they're meant to, I guess, make money, you know, why are they so dupe reliant compared to, let's just think of every other collaboration we've had since the original Tower of God. So the original Tower of God added 3 characters, Viole, Zahard, and Yuri. 3 of them, none of them were ult reliant at all in terms of their passive. We then go to the next collab, which was the Shield Hero rerun, which added Vittoria and Gloss, both of them not ultimate reliant on their passive. I think Vittoria may get like a crit defense boost, but it's nothing really critical. After that, you had the return of the Overlord collaboration, releasing Demi and Nobe, both of them not ultimate reliant at all in terms of their passive, not linked at all. Next one you had was Milim and Shion with the Slime rerun, which was super hype, with only Milim having slight impact on her passive using her ultimate, sort of thing. And still then, you could get away with having 3-6, and it would be completely fine, because 6-6 is beyond overkill at that point, solely because of how the passive works. The next one we had was the Tower of God rerun, right? Which, you know, it added Mazino and Eon, both of them not ult-reliant, and you can sort of guess the trend. They add the new collaboration, being Emerson Shadow. All 3 of the characters are somewhat ult-reliant, even if it is very minimal, being Shadow and Beta being heavily reliant on ult level in terms of their passives, and then Alpha requiring only 2-6. And I hope they just don't make that mistake, or if you are, give them 0.5 rates. It's not hard, and they shouldn't have festival level rates for characters that are meant to be this super exclusive, super good, super cool, right? And the collaborations are meant to be celebrated. They're not meant to be extortion, which is basically what the Embassy Shadow collab was. It was extortion. It wasn't a collaboration, it was extortion. It wasn't celebrated. And it was actually ridiculed quite a bit by not only me, but most players. You know, rates were horrendous, sometimes people had bad summons, people had bad experiences, people quit the game. Because that's what happens. When people don't get characters that are either needed for key content or are meta, you know, a meta could last a few weeks or it could last a few months. Think about Milim, right? If you missed out on Milim, Milim was meta for months, right? Imagine if you missed out on that collaboration character because the rates were 0.25. And you went, you know, let's say you went 540 diamonds in, right, and you couldn't do the rest because you're free to play, right? We're going to assume you're free to play because it's the best way to do it. You lose a free to play player. The way you sort of make these games work is if they're free to play friendly, free to players are more willing to spend money on it because the more time they put into it, the more they feel okay with it. It's like, okay, I don't mind spending £26 on outfits for Song Jin-woo, right? Because I play this game a lot, I love this game, and I put hundreds of hours into it. I'm more than happy putting 26 quid aside to buy some outfits for him, right? But if you don't get the characters, once again, you can't put the money in the outfits. So it's kind of stupid. Once again, just fix the rates. I have no problem with 0.5 per character. You know, you're adding 3 characters instead of 4 now. So it's not 1% anymore. If it was 0.25, which would have been fine, it would have been a 33% chance to get a collaboration character, which I think is much better than a 25% chance. But where did the other 25% go? Well, it clearly didn't go into character design because they're just heavily reliant on you getting more ult dupes, so it's not gone into that. Maybe it's gone into the character uniqueness, possibly. Maybe it's gone into more collaborations in the future. But still, then you then have the problem of why aren't the rates increased to match that sort of thing? You know, if I'm losing a character from a collaboration, why am I not gaining it in the rates so it's the exact same? So I'm not really losing anything. Apart from that, I got no real problem with the rest of it. Races, once again, you need to be consistent now. You sort of stuck your flag in the ground and be like, okay, we're now going to do the whole clan system stuff when it comes to races. Okay, well, now you need to stick to it. You can't go back on it. You can't pick and choose when and where you want it. You know, if you get a new version of Rem or Ram, they need to be demon now. We get Free Road, she has to be fairy. You get any sort of demi-human, they need to be human now, because, well, once again, they're not unknown, and they're technically demi-human, which means subhuman race. So I'm just saying, you've now may have screwed yourself over by doing that. Maybe in some cases you'll be fine, but now you have to stick with it and think, okay, now we've done this, you're not going to stick with it. And I guess that it will make meta somewhat better, but also try not to do the thing where you release a collaboration and then you know, spoil the collab for some people, which is another thing that I'm sort of worried they're going to do. For example, I've read the manga up to the current purchasable, like, physical manga currently here in the UK, so they won't be able to spoil basically anything for me. But if you do want to continue and maybe read the rest of what we could possibly get, or what they could possibly spoil. It would be Volume 8 to Volume 11, which is currently out in the UK. If you read those, that will basically mean you'll be spoiler-proof, you'll be safe, because they could technically spoil it. You know, will I think they do it? Probably not, but once again, I don't put it past them to, you know, accidentally do it, or to try and make a super hype, super cool character, and in the process spoiling something. But all I really wanted to say is, don't screw up the rates, because losing lots of players because of collaboration characters they like that they can't obtain, because you've made the rates so bad and they don't reflect the impactfulness of their passive on their ultimate, or just they're not really obtainable. You know, when it requires a whale to do 2 rotations or even 3 rotations to get the collaboration characters. Actually, no, I will talk about that, right? So, on the Slime collaboration rerun, I did 2 rotations, right? Millum is 6/6 in 2 rotations. And let's have a look at the Emmets and Shadow collab. Bear in mind, she had a 0.5 rate, right? These collaboration characters, being these 3 here, had a total combined rate of 0.75, which is only 0.25 better than Millum. Total, they're only 6/6. If you were to add all their ults, so 3/6, 2/6, 1/6, that totals 6/6. Millum herself is 6/6. That doesn't include the fact that I got Shion 5/6, I have Rimuru 6/6, and I've got a bunch of other characters. I think I've got maybe someone else 2/6 and someone else 2/6 as well from that Slime collab. But still, rates really do impact the banner and how people perceive the characters, right? If they can't obtain the characters because the banner's horrendous, they're going to blame the update itself and the collaboration for being bad, and you don't really want that. You don't really want bad press on it. But once again, you own the IP for this, so don't screw it up, because it will come back to haunt you. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on rates and what they should do. Should they want to up it to 0.5, maybe just up the rates of the banner to a 4% to sort of even it out, or should they just make the characters more easy to obtain? Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're nearly at 2k subs, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.